I was 2 months old when my mother found out that she was pregnant again, but it was no joyous occasion, for just a few days prior, my father had been diagnosed with cancer. He held on for 2 years before he died in the living room with family and friends huddled around his bed. My mother was now a single parent, struggling with her grief and 2 children under 3, so we spent a lot of time with my grandparents. My stepfather came into the picture when I was 6. I didn't like him. I was told to call him Dad, but he wasn't my real dad, and I wasn't afraid to let him know. I didn't trust him. I screamed in his face that I hated him, and I told him that I wished he would die. When I was about 8 years old, I was bitten by an ant in a rather sensitive spot, sitting on the grass at school. I howled as the teacher on playground duty carried me to the office. "What's wrong? What happened?" she asked. But I was not going to tell her. I didn't know this lady, and I didn't trust her with my very private injury. "I want my mummy!" The office tried to contact her, but she was at work, so they tried my stepfather instead. "I am not telling him. He is not my dad." I lay on the floor and cried for over an hour, refusing to talk to anyone until my mother finally arrived to collect me. Looking back at this experience shows me just how important relationships are to a child. Trust is not something that comes naturally to some. It must be earned and maintained. Earning a child's trust as an educator is imperative. Rogoff and Vygotsky's socio-cultural theories highlight that any learning in the school environment is influenced by the history of the child, that children are positioned to learning through the belief system in which they are exposed within their own communities. In order to provide the best care for a child, I want to take the time to get to know them as individuals. Understanding the individual's family structure helps to understand the child, and understanding the child is key to providing individualized and adaptive education. My involvement with non-traditional family dynamics helps me to understand and relate to a child who is in a similar position. I can use my experience from the loss of my father, my stint in a single-parent household, the nurturing from extended family members, and my tumultuous time adjusting to a step-parent in order to appreciate and empathize with children's emotions regarding their various home lives. Then I can establish trusting and open relationships with my students.